Klaus Winkler, showing my art. This is another from those cardboard pieces. Yes, 2013, I thought probably the first time this was ready. Well, for me, like I painted here with fingers, with oil. If you see, I'm coming from this like kind of like conservative graffiti background. So painting something like this with oil, non-typical graph-like letters was at the time super revolutionary, or yeah, non-conservative in a way. Not trying to stylize the letters or anything, really rough and raw in the energy. All these elements with spray can I painted later around, in the years later, or probably 10 years later. This is like probably from like 4 or 5 years ago. And this is like from 2010-ish. Yo, yes. Yeah, from Yayo and from like some kind of like cool universalist words. I don't know. Back then I was asleep. I was almost awake from the Matrix, or in parts awake, but non-J-pilled in my teens. But I was also asking myself questions, and whether I was a child watching here a book, and I don't want to go into the details because yeah, I want to keep this account and stuff. So yeah, this is I would say from a painting point of view, it's not sophisticated. You know, the background is spray paint on cardboard. You see here like all these like different fadings and dusting into the colors. And then the oil painting with fingers. And then almost, I would say a decade later, these like balls. And then at some point, I was like, this light effect maybe came also a year or two later. Yeah. And when I was painting those balls, basically, or those round forms, Kugeln, or you want to call it, I did that with like mostly, or with almost all of my paintings. So it was like really a low IQ work. This was at some point, was like, hey, let's paint the corners, and first with roller paint, and then later I came up with the idea to spray paint inside, probably a year or two later. This is like, those ideas was like, okay, I have rest paint, I don't know what to do, I have no ideas, no inspiration, don't want to think. Okay, and I want to do something unusual and something where I can upgrade the pieces, you know, like an add-on. So I came up with like stuff like this. Yeah. Thing is, I took it as a positive challenge. So because I can't paint over oil, because nothing will stick, everything will come down. So I took it as a positive challenge to then paint around the oil. And this is like still work in progress, you know. It could be that at some point in like a few years, all this here will be like super detailed and sophisticatedly painted. And then who knows, you know. This is the other side, which I was doing like abstract forms and things, trying to be non like I'm painting my style and I know what I'm doing and I'm doing what I'm always doing. But at some point I said, fuck it. And I did like with a fat cap, like a really thick, raw, almost bombing style, but painting it while having it lay down. So that's why it looks so watery, with spray paint and S, which then turned out to look good. I mean, like, you know, after all this like super fine, detailed, I'm trying to be delicate, la-di-da-di-da, and it must look, I'm trying to be, no, trying is like victim language, trying to be as detailed as possible, but I will never be as detailed as Vermeer or Chris Voss. I mean, I will be maybe in the future, but it will take lots of energy and time. I said then, fuck it, I'm going like paint like something super thick. Yeah, and I like the energy. I mean, it's like a breakthrough then in the mindset. Of course, here those like air ventilation parts, which probably my earliest pre-priming is from this motherfucker here. Sorry for the language. A nice play toy from Fisher Price from my earliest childhood, which probably made me become an artist. I mean, if you see my paintings, they look like play toys. Same color setting. I mean, yeah, so much to having my own ideas, right? With the little light effects here and the little holes and everything. And this is like this looks like the holes for my small A. By the way, this was the view I had when I was probably playing with that. Yeah, you can't tell me that this is, yeah. I also played with this probably here in this house the first time, but I don't know when. I just remember I was going with my mom shopping and watching the construction guys working in the streets. And then when I was sitting here on a table, it's not that table, it's another table, still having it here, and I was saying the words, Mama bauen Haus, like Mama building house. But it also means like, it's a double meaning. It also means like, hey, Mama, when you go to someone else and F around, it's over, you know? So this toy is pretty cleverly constructed. It's like I'm giving my mom a hint, you know? You keep your legs together and be a good woman. Otherwise, it's over, you know? Well, you know, children, they don't know that, and then they know. And my name says it. The thing was that my mom just could have me, and it was on the last ditch, and there were complications before. So, and my mom told me a few years ago that I'm the best thing she ever did in her whole life. So, yeah, I like this parts here also. It has like this like blooming out or blurring or something. It's this is like when you paint like too much spray paint and it goes like, you know, it's really thick. It probably took ages to dry. And this is roller paint with a finger, rough. Maybe in the future I will have like also elements here in the foreground which are detailed, playing with contrasts. I don't know. Seeing how it goes. Yeah. So you never know. I mean, I never know. Sometimes I can turn an ugly duckling piece. I wasn't really inspired, and you know, and then I can turn it around with a few things into like this is my new favorite piece, and it's completely mesmerizes me. So spray paint, beautiful